Right now on Up with KREM, high winds blast through the inland northwest today. We're tracking the impacts that will have on the region, including the threat for dust storms.
We are continuing our coverage on the rebuild of the Pac-12 Conference, as it is now suing the Mountain West as conference realignment grips the West. What we know at this hour.
I want people to laugh and have a good time and enjoy where they live, so I just hope to be a small part of that.
You may have seen his videos. A local realtor is gaining attention online. This morning, why his videos stand apart from the rest.
Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning, everyone. 6 o'clock here on your Wednesday. Welcome to Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Let's get you ready for the day ahead by taking a look at the forecast. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is warning us about some wind today that could impact us quite a bit, right, Thomas?
Yeah, this feels like it could be like our first small windstorm of the season as we kind of exit the summer season and really into some true fall weather for the rest of this week. Wind gusts are going to be up to 50 miles per hour today, and because of those speeds, that has hit thresholds to give us wind advisories, and in this case, blowing dust advisories for eastern and central Washington, really highlighting the fact that the dust that gets picked up by the winds can create low visibility situations. So you could almost treat this as if it were fog. It has that same kind of impact, low visibility that can be very suddenly onset by the winds. But in this case, obviously, because of the dust. This is all being caused by a storm front that is pushing in from western Washington, but the strongest winds are going to be felt in front of it. Already breezy this morning, but those winds definitely accelerate into the afternoon hours.
As you wake up and head out the door, we're taking a live look at I-90 and US 2. Take a look here at the westbound lanes. It looks like there's some heavy traffic moving west at this hour, which is quite early for the 6 o'clock hour. But right now, it doesn't look like it's causing any major backups. We are seeing some red lights in the eastbound direction as well. So we'll take a look to see what's going on here. But right now, there's no other major incidents across the region. If there is, we'll be sure to let you know about it here on Up with KREM.
Well, this morning, we're learning more regarding the Pac-12 Conference's future. The conference is now suing the Mountain West Conference for a poaching penalty totaling more than $40 million.
KREM 2 went through every page of the more than 100-page lawsuit. It alleges the potential penalty is not enforceable under antitrust laws. This morning, KREM 2's Cody Proctor breaks down the lawsuit for us.
Now, this all stems from the Pac-12 adding Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, and San Diego State. Now, when it comes to the money, according to the Associated Press, the Mountain West has exit fees of upwards of $17 million for departing schools. Those fees can increase depending on how much advance notice a school gives. In addition, the Mountain West put in poaching fees in their football scheduling agreement with both Oregon State and Washington State, since they're the only current Pac-12 members this season. The fee starts at $10 million. It then increases by an increment of $500,000 for every additional school the Pac-12 adds from the Mountain West. With 4 already on board, the total comes to $43 million. The lawsuit says the severe exit fees the Mountain West already has in place for their members would more than compensate the conference for member schools that leave. Instead, the Pac-12's lawsuit argues the Mountain West forced the struggling conference to agree to the poaching penalty, which they claim was, in part, quote, designed to limit the Pac-12's ability to compete with the MWC for years into the future. Mountain West Commissioner Gloria Nevarez made a statement about the suit, saying she's responsible for protecting her conference and the Pac-12's taking advantage of their willingness to help them. She also says, in part, quote, at no point in the contracting process did the Pac-12 contend that the agreement that it freely entered into violated any laws. To say that the Mountain West was taking advantage of the Pac-12 could not be farther from the truth. The Mountain West Conference wanted to help the Pac-12 schools and student athletes, but not at the expense of the Mountain West.
KREM 2 also confirmed Utah State committed to the Pac-12 conference, bringing the total now to 7 schools. Both Washington State and Oregon State are in the first year of a 2-year NCAA grace period in which they are able to operate as the Pac-12 as a 2-team conference. By 2026, though, they need to have at least 8 members in order to be recognized as a conference by the NCAA and the college football playoffs.
Now, this is not the only lawsuit that the Pac-12 is involved with. Former USC football star Reggie Bush says he's suing the Pac-12, his former school, and the NCAA. Now, this is all to recoup money made on his name, image, and likeness during his career with the Trojans 2 decades ago. Bush's attorneys announced the filing on Monday. Now, at the time, they said in part, this case is not just about seeking justice for Reggie Bush. It's about setting a precedent for the fair treatment of all college athletes. Our goal is to rectify this injustice and pave the way for a system where athletes are rightfully recognized, compensated, and treated fairly for their contributions, end quote. Now, USC issued a statement in response to Bush's lawsuit, and they said that they have not received a copy of that suit and because of that are unable to address the allegations. They also said, quote, Reggie will always be a revered member of the Trojan family.
Turning now to professional basketball, the WNBA Playoffs are underway, and last night the Seattle Storm played their final game of the season against the defending champions, the Las Vegas Aces. The Aces are led by University of Washington alum Kelsey Plum and the league's MVP, A'ja Wilson. The Storm ended their season in Vegas last night, falling to the Aces 83-76. What a game. Now the Las Vegas Aces move on to their semifinals for the 6th consecutive season. The Storm finished their season 25-15.
In the meantime, the Seattle Kraken played in their second preseason game last night in a game that you could only watch on KSKN 22. And the Kraken even made history so far this year with the first woman to coach in NHL history. Jessica Campbell is the Kraken's new assistant coach this season alongside head coach Dan Bylsma. Campbell made her Kraken coaching debut on Sunday. Now, she's a former pro hockey player from Canada. Now, the season for the Kraken is off to a pretty tough start as they did fall to the Vancouver Canucks in the second preseason game 3-1.
Time now is 6:07. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Attorneys for the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students filed a motion to allow him to wear street clothes in public hearings as opposed to jail attire. Brian Kohberger's attorneys argue the move will help reduce the potential for prejudice because of media coverage of the case. The Idaho Supreme Court recently agreed to move the trial from Moscow, where the murders took place, to Boise, which is Idaho's biggest city. Kohberger is expected to make his first appearance in a Boise courtroom tomorrow. This morning, a Sandpoint man is behind bars after threatening to kill former President Donald Trump. KREM 2 obtained new court documents that show Sandpoint resident Warren Jones' Crazy Bull called the former president's Mar-a-Lago resort in July, saying he was en route to kill him. Crazy Bull also made several posts on Facebook, including a self-produced video threatening Trump. He was also arrested the following day. Crazy Bull told federal agents his posts were meant to get law enforcement's attention. He is now facing a potential $250,000 fine and up to 5 years in prison. One day after we told you about escalating concerns regarding wolves and cougars in eastern Washington, the director of the Washington State Fish and Wildlife Department authorized killing 1 adult wolf from southeast Washington. Authorities say it's in response to the wolf killing livestock and injuring several more in Asotin County. That is a look at this morning's top stories.
Well, this morning, Seattle rapper Macklemore continues to face backlash after a viral video of his performance at a pro-Palestine benefit concert showed him on stage saying an explicit word towards America. Now, his comment was followed by loud cheers from the crowd. Since the comment was made, Macklemore was dropped from a music festival in Las Vegas. The Seattle Kraken and Sounders FC also made a statement about his comment, since Macklemore is a minority owner of both teams. Now, the teams released a joint statement saying in part, quote, "We are aware of Macklemore's increasingly divisive comments, and they do not reflect the values of our respective ownership groups, leagues, or organizations. We're currently evaluating our collective options on this matter," end quote. Now, in addition, many people in Washington's Jewish community say that they're hurt by his words, and some are calling for the Mariners to remove his music from their 7th-inning stretch playlist.
What I think really Macklemore should understand is the damage that his words do to the Jewish community while trying to help the Palestinians.
The Council on American Islamic Relations, however, is emphasizing Macklemore's right to free speech, telling our Seattle station, quote, speaking up against the genocide in Gaza is held to a different standard than speaking out on other topics in our country. Macklemore's comments are illustrative of our government's open and ongoing complicity in this human rights catastrophe.
As we hit 6:10 on this Wednesday morning, the winds are already starting to increase just a little bit right now, and you can actually see that in some of the trees outside with our live pictures out there, looking like a beautiful sunrise that's going to be here just about 20 minutes. But today is still going to be a very, very windy day. Don't want to understate that at all. And I know things might be a little bit calmer for a couple hours this morning, but you can already feel it in the winds. It's actually rushing in warmer air this morning, and that's why our temperatures are still in the 60s and in some cases 70s as of 6 a.m. on a late September morning. So that is incredibly warm for the season. And again, it's all thanks to that light wind right now. Weather impact alert day today because of the high-end winds that will be here later on today. Wind gusts will peak at 50 miles per hour.
Concerns of another war in the Middle East. In the next 3 minutes, the latest fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Plus, President Biden's reaction during his address to the United Nations General Assembly.